Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, blessing, and safety to all the Akim out there pushing this truth, to all the four corners of the earth, and to the hopeful elect out there. This is the brother Hadabiah coming back at you with another one. And, you know, this lesson is inspired by this word, which is chaos, and that's what's coming. That is, the time of Jacob's trouble is going to be a time of chaos, leading up to the sea hip. There's going to be chaos, leading up to, in the time of World War III, and when Yahweh Shai returns, it's going to be nothing but chaos. That is what's coming to Babylon the Great, which is America. It's going to be a time of chaos. And, with the way things are happening right now, it's already starting. Things are not, really hectic, but with everything that's going on, you could clearly see that the chaos is coming. Trump has only been in office 6 months, and this is 6 months out of 4 years, and we truly believe he's going to be the one to bring forth that chip, and since he's been in office, it's been nothing but chaos, with so-called strikes on over there in like Palestine, and tariffs, and the ICE. This is what's coming down the pipeline. So it's gonna get the meaning for chaos in Google Dictionary: a state of utter confusion and disorder, a total lack of organization or order. So, that's what's coming to this place. Babylon the Great is already in a state of confusion as it is already. But disorder is coming to that place. So that word is what inspired this your lesson. Is just thinking of the chaos is coming, and we are not to get too comfortable. A lot of these other Israelites, the Israelite groups and camps are pushing as if we're going to be here forever and ever, in terms of living under Esau, living in this wicked society. They're not prophesying about the danger that is coming. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 14, starting at verse 15. And set aside the thoughts that are mostly heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done thereafter. So, greater evils are coming. Bad times are coming, very bad times. Like in the precept I'm going to bring out, the time of Jacob's trouble is a time, like never before, seen ever. You think about the flood, and I'll get that precept, and go into that. But this is what's coming. Greater evils. For look, how much the world shall be weaker through the age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. So the bad times are just gonna get worse and worse and worse, and get greater and greater and greater. And that's why people are gonna bug out, go crazy, not know what to believe, give up, they're gonna trust Esau because of the bad times that are coming, and it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse. That's what's gonna happen. Verse 18: For the time is fleed far away, and leasing is hard at hand. For now hasteth the vision to come which thou hast seen. So bad times. It's gonna just keep getting worse and worse and worse. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15. This whole chapter is bad. It's fire. I mean, bad isn't bad. I mean, there's just so much heat. I'm gonna start at verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So people are going to be going at it. Civil wars is going to happen. There's going to be just so much chaos going that people are just want to go against each other. I'll read verse 15 again. For the sword of the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And of course, their actions shall stand in their power. So, they're not gonna. There's gonna be, so much confusion and disorder that people are not gonna, care about what their government is telling them to do. They're not gonna care about the authority. This is that time of martial law. And in the time of martial law, you're forced to be under the law and not be able to do certain things. But the pride of people, people are not going to stand for that. So they're not going to care. You see with all these riots, protesting. You can just imagine when things get really hectic. People are going to be fed up. Going to be fed up and going to want to take they're going to want to take control and power into their own hands. Verse 17: A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right now you can move freely and go as you want, but in the chaotic time of Jacob's trouble, you can't do this. Gonna be troops all over, checkpoints all over. And when the C-19 happened, it was kind of like that. You weren't allowed to be outside. After a certain time, huge group gatherings were not allowed. Like people think people think that that the pandemic was such a short time ago. Man, that shit just finished. People have gone back into this delusional state of mind, not thinking that Esau could do that again. And people were bugging out. People were bugging out during that time. Depression. So imagine how much more so in the time of the Sihip, in the time of martial law, in the time of civil war, in the time of great plagues and diseases and like natural disasters. Imagine if when those things just happen one after the other, after the other, after the other. People are going to have no time to catch their breath and process what is going on, because it's just going to keep happening. It's just like in this walk. Sometimes we'd be going through it. The brothers would be going through it. Just one thing after the other after the other. But that's Yahweh Shem Yahushua preparing us for a time like never before. Verse 18, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for a great tribulation. Yeah, because it's hard time. It's hard time even out here. Ain't no jobs. Ain't no jobs out here. It's so hard to find a job now. It's hard to find a job, and it's hard to keep a damn job with all the layoffs. Everything's slow. Everything is going towards everything's going towards AI. Companies are trying to figure out a way how to cut out having to use, manpower, having to use, you know, people, everything. No matter what field, these companies are trying to figure out a way how can we continue to make money without paying, more people. And I'm going through that firsthand. No matter what job, they'll get rid of people, and then whatever they'll require the staff to have to work even harder, you know, and still get the job done. And that's Esau for you, and it's gonna continue to get even more troubling and chaotic as things get worse because nothing is getting better. The dollar is shit. Everything is shit. This is Matthew 24. Another fire chapter. I'm just gonna jump around. I'll start at verse 6, Matthew 24 and 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. We're seeing that now, and it's gonna continue to get worse. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famine, pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places. When these things are happening, but it's gonna, get to that level. It's gonna get to a level where everybody's talking about it. You know, all these are the beginning of sorrows. You know, bad times. They shall deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and he shall be hated of all the nations for my name's sake. You know, with all these laws that are being passed right now, you got to watch what you say. They know who the Hebrew Israelites are. There's so much confusion even within the Hebrew Israelites themselves because you have all these camps out here, pushing false doctrine, you know, pushing that everyone could be saved bullshit, pushing let's care about Esau. No. And then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. Seeing that now, you know, let me jump down to verse 21. For then shall be a great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor shall ever be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So the times that the chaos that is brewing up, is gonna be great. It's gonna be a great tribulation. Like I said, such was not since the beginning of the world. So that it has the things that are about to happen, the things that are about to take place, the chaos that is about to erupt. across the world is going to be a time like never before. Think about the flood. You can think about any event in time in history. This chaos is going to eclipse all of it. You know, that's what we're trying to push, trying to warn and tell Jake of what's to come. You know, like this. You know, this is not for us. This is not our forever. You know, this is not our retirement. You know, our peace comes once Yahweh Shai comes back and burns this shit up, burns up Babylon the Great, gets his vengeance. You know how beautiful it is gonna see, it's gonna be to see our power, the one we serve, the one who looks out for us, the one who we love and fear, get his revenge for what they did to him. It's gonna be sweet for what they did to him starting off and what they've done to us over the many generations. They gotta pay back, you know? They gotta get it. Mm-mm. So this is Jeremiah um, 30, starting at verse 5. For thus said the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, we have heard a voice of trembling and fear and of not of peace. See ye now and see whether a man do travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, and a woman in travail, and all the faces turn into paleness. And you know, this is this scripture, you know, gets brought out a lot because that's exactly how it's gonna be. Verse 7, alas, for the day is great. Once again, bring it, you know, hammering home the point that the times that are coming is going to be like never before. At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but ye shall be saved out of it. The elect are going to be saved in the midst of all this chaos. You know, the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai is going to be with us, but the chaos has to come. You know, even we have to get purified through this hard time, but this chaos has to also come because there's people there have to be judged. 2/3 has to be judged. These heathens have to be judged. These Esau has to be judged. So the chaos has to come. It has to happen. That's the only way, you know, for this place to be, you know, cleansed and brought back in order. It's through chaos. Just like how Esau likes to bring order, you know, on the left hand side through chaos, you know, he's going to want to bring his new world order. That's on the, you know, on the left hand side, that's what he's trying to do, you know, but on the right hand side, through Yahweh Shem Yahushai, this chaos is going to come and it's going to happen in order to set up his kingdom, you know, and that's balance. Isaiah 19:2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight, every one another, his brother, and every one against his neighbor and city, against city, and kingdom against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Because with all the chaos that's going to be happening, people are just going to be going at each other. You know, this is why we have to get right, because you know this is not our rest. All right, Micah 2:10, arise and depart, for this is not your rest, because it's polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. So, you know, chaos has to happen, you know, and chaos is coming. You know, then that's why we can't get too comfortable here, you know, during this rulership. Because, you know, like they say, when peace and safe they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. That's exactly how it is. That's why we can't get too comfortable here. Because, you know, chaos is coming, bad times is coming, you know. What did it say in the disorder, you know, a total lack of organization or order. So we're coming to a time where there's going to be straight confusion. You know, shit's going to hit the fan. But the elect of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai are going to know how to maneuver in the midst of all this chaos because of the spirit and mercy of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So that's going to do it for this video. I pray it was edifying. I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. I pray this lesson was edifying. Until the next one, Shalom.